Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. It is Thursday, June 23rd, and we're here in the village of Ardsley at Ardsley Village Hall, along with Mayor Nancy Kabulian. I'm joined as well by Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, County Legislator Mary Jane Shimsky, Town Councilwoman Ellen Hendricks, and then also our Acting Commissioner for the Westchester County Department of Public Safety, Terrence Rayner, and the Ardsley Chief of Police, Anthony Piccolino. And we're here today to talk about what has been happening, or more specifically, not happening in Westchester County in general and in Ardsley in specific, relative to crime. And the general news, for the general purpose of this press conference, is to let you know that we've looked now at statistics that take in the full extent of 2021 data that's reported by every police department in Westchester County and every department across the state to the state of New York. We've retrieved the data, and the data shows that in Westchester County, and as well as in the village of Ardsley and most of our municipalities, crime is down. Now, that's an important thing to understand. Crime is down, and it's down significantly. It's down in the vicinity of 20% in every one of the different indicators, and that is different from the narrative that you may be getting either through general public dialogue, perhaps through political dialogue, or what's happening in certain jurisdictions. Certainly, we live next door as a county to New York City, which is one of the urban centers of the nation, and urban centers are particularly impacted by crime. But here in Westchester County, that crime has been put on a negative downward slope, done because we think of the excellent work that's being done by our police departments as well as other related departments. We'll talk about a little bit of that while we're together. Let me just give you some of the statistics, and then I'm going to invite the Ardsley Chief of Police, Anthony Piccolino, to speak. Mayor Nancy Kabulian will then speak, and then Terrence Rayner, our Acting Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, will also share his thoughts. We had a press conference about 6 months ago in which we shared data that covered the first 3 quarters of 2021. We did not have fourth quarter data yet available at that time, and we compared it to the 3 quarters of 2017, a 4-year period of time. We felt 4 years was a reasonable amount of time to compare. We also recognized that 2020 was a COVID year, 2021 was a COVID year, although it's the most recent year, and that represents the period of time of our administration's responsibilities and our policies and our actions. And over the course of that 4-year period of time, we were able to show back in January that crime was down. But it was not a full year comparison. We needed the fourth quarter numbers in order to have it complete, and we now have that, which is what we're releasing today. In general, there's been a 20% decrease in index crimes, and index crimes aggregates violent crimes and property crimes into one single statistic. Violent crimes include murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault, and our 2 police professionals can discuss what that means in a little bit greater detail. Violent crimes are down in Westchester County by 22.9% over the 4-year period. 22.9% less violent crimes in Westchester County today than 4 years ago. Murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault. The other portion of index crimes are property crimes. Property crimes include burglary, larceny, motor vehicle theft. They're down 16.7%, still a double-digit decrease. The aggregate of those two reaches the total number that I shared a second ago of 20%, 20.4%. And this source is from the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services, the Uniform Crime Reporting File. This is data at the state level of government that's collected by each of the different departments and aggregated together. They give an aggregate countywide number when they aggregate all of the different local departments. Let's talk about what's happening here in the village of Ardsley. In Ardsley, total index crime, both categories of crimes, in 2017 there were 37 index crimes. That number dropped in 2018 to 28. It dropped to 22. Then in the COVID year, it rose to 30. And that was really driven by property-related crimes. And then in 2021, down to 15 reported crimes. That's from 37 down to 15 here in the village of Ardsley over the course of a 4-year period of time. And that is something that the mayor and the elected officials and Chief Piccolino and the professional law enforcement officials can be duly proud of. That crime is down in Ardsley. And if we were in Buchanan, if we were in Cortland, if we were in Elmsford, if we were in North Salem, if we were in Lewisboro or Larchmont, I know I sound like a Metro-North conductor, every one of those communities has a similar story to tell. And it's not just the small villages. It's the large cities as well. In White Plains, crime is down over that 4 period of time. In New Rochelle, crime is down. In Yonkers and Mount Vernon, crime is down in every one of those municipalities. But we're here in Ardsley, and we want to just note the remarkable job that's being done here. Now, Ardsley's downtown area, shopping area, is a very confined area, but it's very well used by the people of Ardsley. And I might add, people from the town of Greenburgh that live nearby, and people from other river towns as people travel in and out of each of these different communities. And to understand that crime is at a lower level today than 4 years ago is not only to deal with the rhetoric that's out there, the political rhetoric, but it's also to make sure that people understand they are safe to come and go as they see fit. That is an important element as an economic indicator. When we talk to the River Towns Chamber of Commerce, when we talk to the Chamber of Commerce in other parts of the county, we want people to come and shop in our communities. And they need to know that when they come here, when they park 2 blocks away from the store that they're going to go to, that crime is down and they do not have to fear. And that's a very, very important situation. There are reasons for the drop in crime. And of course, we have to look at, the variant that COVID did. COVID had more people working at home, and it changed a little bit of the patterns of people's behaviors. But we have in Westchester County, and Terrence Rainey is going to talk about this in a second, we have used technology to a very high level through a program called Real-Time Crime, in which we coordinate the efforts of the 40 local municipal police departments and the county police department. We have automatic plate readers. We have intelligence and data that's collected and used cooperatively to be able to deal with crime as it happens, or in cases that anticipate behavior that may be happening from rings. You've seen us have various press conferences in which rings that sold fentanyl have been broken up through the county police and other levels of police working cooperatively. You've seen a press conference where we showed the guns that were collected off the streets, and that was a significant number, all lined up at the police academy in the basement. These are examples of the success of policing going forward, using technology and using modern police methods to be able to accomplish these different things. It's important also to note that to go along with technology and 21st century policing, there is also a tremendous element of community policing that goes on. And I can attest to that here in Ardsley. I've been at Pascone Park more than once for one event or another. Members of the Ardsley Police Force are present for these events. They interact with the community, the young people of the community, people of color in the community. There's an interaction which brings the police on much more of a one-on-one basis with the individuals in the community. And that also helps deal with these issues of crime. So when you look at both the technology and the personal side of it, the training side, which falls under the responsibilities of the county police department to train all of the new officers that are hired anywhere in this county, and then also to provide some in-service training for those who've been around for a while. Those are all component parts. Let me also mention that we want to recognize the role that our probation department and our correction department plays, because those people who have been convicted of a crime and are serving their sentence, complete their sentence and come back into the community, the services that are provided at the correction facility, educational services where you can get high school equivalency diplomas, where you can get a certification in culinary arts that can go out and get you a job, puts you on a different path when you come out of prison. And that is an important element of reducing repeat crime and reducing the overall crime rate. That's the corrections department. The probation department interacts with those individuals once they leave the control of the corrections department, and their ability to stay on top of those individuals to anticipate problems that may happen in a person's life before they lead back to a life of crime is also contributory in how we're reducing the amount of crime. This is quote unquote good old-fashioned policing, and we lose that in the rhetoric when we hear people talk about, well, we want to defund the police or we want to fully fund the police. They talk about dollars and cents of numbers as if it's an incentive for behavior. We work every day at trying to make sure that the police that protect us are well trained and well directed by the leadership, the professional leadership of the local police departments, the county police departments, and I might add the state police, and when we interact with the federal police. so that it's not just a question of dollars spent, but that it is programs and services like community policing programs that help us make a connection that keeps crime down. And you need to understand all of that when you hear the rhetoric that is designed to make you afraid, make you fear, and then, of course, react off of that fear, rather than react off of the rational efforts that are being done by our police departments in concert with our general government officials. So let me ask the Chief of Police here in Ardsley, Anthony Piccolino, to speak next, talk a little bit about what happens on the ground level here in Ardsley as we see this tremendous drop here in Ardsley reflective of the county. Chief Piccolino.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. I want to begin by thanking all of the men and women of law enforcement and our local law enforcement partners who go out there every day and keep our community safe. The level of cooperation between our federal, state, and local law enforcement has never been better than it is today. I think that much of that cooperation is due to what I would call the brainchild of the Westchester County Department of Public Safety's MAX program and RTC, as the county executive had stated. The MAX program, or the Multi-Agency Coordination System, allows for quick mobilization of departments to respond to emergencies within the county, while the RTC, or the Real-Time Crime Center, provides us with actionable intelligence to individual officers and agencies in real time. And we've seen the effects of this. The real time, that officer on the road is getting immediate information in real time where it's happening, and we can deploy units immediately, and it's been tremendous. The amount of money that the county has put into this and the dedication of the officers involved has just been tremendous. I'm a 37-year veteran of the department, and I've never seen cooperation like this anywhere, even close to what we have today, and it's just fantastic. And I thank the county executive and all of the legislators, the mayor, the commissioner, all of which support us tremendously. We've doubled our community policing efforts in this past budget, and officers are in the schools, and we're trying to move forward with that program also. So that's what I have to say, and I just thank everybody for your cooperation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite to the microphone in her very house here the mayor of the Village of Ardsley, Nancy Kabulian. Nancy, in serving as mayor, sitting at this desk with her colleagues on the village board, make decisions that involve everyday actions in the village, including to make sure that there's proper law enforcement and to support those efforts and to direct those efforts from a civilian standpoint. In every way, Nancy has been a terrific partner in the county. We have a strong county-village relationship, as we do with the other villages. And I might add, very important, that she meets routinely with the other village mayors of these river towns. She'll meet with Nikki Armacost of Hastings. She'll meet with Vincent Rosillo of Dobbs Ferry. She'll meet with each of those different mayors, and they will talk about strategies in a host of areas, not just law enforcement. And that, too, contributes to some of the success that we've had here in Ardsley. So the mayor of the Village of Ardsley, Nancy Kabulian.
Thank you very much, County Executive George Latimer, and thank you, everyone, for being here in the Village of Ardsley. We know here in the Village of Ardsley that people move to the village and move to Westchester because they feel safe here. And one of the reasons that we as a board have fully supported our police force for all the years that I've been mayor is so that people can continue to feel safe here and move here and want to live here in these communities. I am thrilled that the numbers for the Village of Ardsley are down. I attribute that 100% to our police force. We have a fine police force. Our police chief, as you just heard, has doubled the number of community policing in our community policing unit. He has been a very proactive chief in community policing. He has police officers out of their cars and on the streets getting to know people. As the county executive pointed out, they are at all of our events. They are in our schools all the time. We're hosting an ice cream social tonight. You're all invited. That's the PBA, so you're all invited. It brings out a lot of people, and once again, it's for the community to know our police force. One of the things we learned during the Police Reimagination Committee was that people wanted to know more about what our police force is doing. And so the chief has taken real initiatives in getting our officers out on the streets and showing people that we're here. I think that alone helps decrease crime because people see them all the time. They feel comfortable going up to them. We have an anonymous tip category on our website. They feel comfortable about contacting our police chief and our police department if they see something or have a concern. I think that helps keep crime down dramatically. We have taken other initiatives that came out of the Police Reimagination Committee, where we now post our statistics on our website every month after they're reported by the chief, so people know that we are living in a safe community, and they know that they can call the chief or me or the village manager who is here with us today, Joe Saratani, and discuss any concerns that they have. We are also very lucky to have hired 2 female police officers in the last year. That was a big initiative that came out of the committee. So we are continuing to diversify our force to represent the demographics of our village. And I believe that helps keep crime down and makes the police department more connected to our community as a whole. So I want to thank everyone from the county and locally for their support, because this is a collaborative effort. This is about all of us living in peace together, and we need to work together in order for that to happen. So thank you very much for all being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you very much. The Westchester County Department of Public Safety, routinely called the County Police, is a department with over 300 sworn officers. We're tasked with the responsibilities for policing county facilities, which heavily in the summertime means county parks. And there's a lot of people that come to Kensico Dam Plaza, a lot of people that come to the various other parks that we have. We're also tasked with policing the parkways of Westchester County, the Hutchinson River Parkway, Sawmill River Parkway, Cross County Parkway, and so forth. But also, the county police has responsibility for education. They handle the academy responsibilities for every new recruit that's brought on board at any of these different local police departments, as well as the new county police that are coming in as well. And they've taken a leadership above and beyond that by seeing their role, as we are as a county government, as a regional role to work in coordination with all of the local police departments. Not every police department has the capacity to have a bomb squad or a hazmat response team. Westchester County makes sure that through our police and our emergency services department, we provide those regional services. Our acting commissioner of the Department of Public Safety is Terrence Rayner. He has just stepped up to that position, having served us for 4 years as deputy commissioner. Just 3 weeks ago, Tom Gleason, who served as our commissioner for the last 4 years, just about 4 years, just took a well-deserved retirement. So now acting commissioner Rayner is at the head of the department, and he is ably backed by 3 chief inspectors, John Hodges, Christopher Calabrese, and Jim Luciano, and then a cadre of captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and police officers. Commissioner Rayner himself started as a street police officer in the city of Mount Vernon, and over time was promoted up to chief of the department, later came back to serve as commissioner of that department, and now has been, as I said, our deputy commissioner for the last 4 years. So he has a complete understanding of all these different component pieces, and we'd like for him to share a little bit about the county's police role over the last few years, which directly contributes to the drop in crime in Westchester County. Commissioner Rayner.
Thank you, County Exec. Appreciate it. As the County Exec noted, the index of Part 1 crimes has been trending downward in the last 4 years here in Westchester County. This index provides a statistical snapshot of violent crimes as well as property crimes. It offers us valuable insight into the relative safety of our communities, and it highlights whether major crime is on the rise or on the decline from year to year. When we compare the year 2017 to 2021, we are pleased to report that the total index crimes are significantly down. Violent crimes are down, and property crimes are down as well. This is good news for the people of Westchester and an indication that our safe county is becoming safer. For those who are unfamiliar, let me describe the specific crime categories that are in the Part 1 index. The violent crimes in the index are murder, aggravated assault, forcible rape, and robbery. The property crimes are motor vehicle theft, burglary, larceny, and arson. While there are other types of crime, these major crime categories give us a solid basis for comparison when we look at statistics annually. They also help us assess trends that are occurring over longer periods of time. There are places in our nation, and even in our state, where the news isn't as good. But here in Westchester, we can all be pleased with the statistical trend we have seen in recent years. Here are some other highlights. Since 2017, crime in Westchester has generally dropped each year as compared to the prior year. The one exception being 2020, when Westchester saw a spike in property crimes as compared to the previous year. Violent crime, though, was lower in 2020 than the previous year. While total crime was higher in 2020 than in 2019, it was still lower than it was in 2017. Overall, violent crime has dropped in Westchester every year from 2017 to 2021 as compared to a prior year. In 2021, there were almost 450 fewer violent crimes than in 2017. I'm certainly grateful to the county executive and the Board of Legislators for providing the Westchester County Department of Public Safety with the resources it needs to fulfill its mission. It includes supporting local law enforcement. I also salute the great work being done by all police departments here in the county. There's also a tremendous level of collaboration throughout Westchester's law enforcement community and with state and federal agencies and our district attorney's office. This has contributed greatly to our county's overall success in combating crime. I could never emphasize enough how important it is for departments throughout Westchester and throughout the state to collaborate on investigations that may start in one pocket of our county and has tentacles throughout. Chief Piccolino and I had a brief discussion a few minutes ago, and we talked about how back in when we first came on, 1984 and 85 respectively, that there was always a camaraderie between police agencies, especially patrol, where police officers would work in collaboration with their border towns or cities in order to apprehend crimes in progress or criminals as a result of a crime in progress. But there was never really that collaboration between investigative agencies. And you heard about our Real-Time Crime Center. Collaborations like that, as we continue moving forward and getting more and more communities involved and on board, we're sure to continue that trend of downward crimes. The Westchester County Police remain committed to working cooperatively with all local, state, and our federal partners. We do so in multiple ways, and by working together, we can continue the downward trend of the crime rates here in our county. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Acting Commissioner Terrence Rayner for the County Department of Public Safety. There aren't any activities that happen in the county government through our work in the executive branch that does not require the cooperation, approval in some cases, of the Westchester County Board of Legislators. Ken Jenkins, the Deputy County Executive, and myself are both former members of the county legislature and both former chairs of the County Board of Legislators. So we understand that there's a particular role between the legislative branch and the executive branch. Certainly at budget time, $52.8 million funded this year for the county police, which is the highest amount that we have funded, represents a concrete way to see what that support is. But it also includes whenever we have capital needs that are necessary, that are not just budgeted within the operating budget, but also within our capital budget. And when we have, when we hear that we have needs, we need X number of police cars, we need certain kinds of equipment. There's new modern materials out there that if we get, it will make it much more efficient for our police officers to do their job. Then it's the Board of Legislators as well as the executive branch that have to coordinate and cooperate on this. So Mary Jane Shimsky, who's a member of the Board of Legislators, former majority leader of the board, is here on behalf of the board, and she'll comment on behalf of herself and her colleagues.
Thank you very much, George. We at the Board of Legislators, as the county executive said, are responsible for making sure that our Department of Public Safety has the resources they need to succeed. Most recently, we have approved supplemental funding for a project which will help even further cement the cooperation between and among our police departments in Westchester, and that is the shared computer records program, which we are working together on with a vendor. It's going to take maybe between 18 and 24 months to complete, but the shared records management program is critical to making sure that all of the local police departments are up to date on everything, that the county is up to date on what's going on specifically in a particular community or what is going on as a whole within the county. As many of you know, we have mandated the reporting of hate incidents. Having a program like this will make that information available on a nearly real-time basis and will help us fight that terrible issue as well. It will also help our local police departments comply with the mandates of criminal justice reform that have been passed by the state in recent years. I look forward to continuing to work together with the Department of Public Safety. I'm glad to hear about the history and hear that all of our local police departments are working together more effectively. I will also tell you that there is a lot that the Department of Public Safety does to work proactively, to be ahead of trends. And anything we can do to foster the exchange of information between departments will only help keep all of us that much safer. So thank you very much to everyone for the great work. Thank you to the Village of Ardsley for always leading the way on good government. And I look forward to continued progress in the coming months and years.
Thank you, Mary Jane Shimsky, Westchester County Legislator. Let me summarize a couple of things as well. I mentioned before what the county police's responsibility is on a countywide regional basis. We also provide local police services in 2 of the 45 municipalities on a contract basis. The village of Mount Kisco is fully policed by the Westchester County Police. The former police headquarters in that village is now a police precinct, and we operate and have that local relationship. The Mount Kisco community has a high population of Hispanic residents, and the county police has reflected our ability to handle that level of policing, I think, very effectively, very much to the satisfaction of the village board in Mount Kisco. We also have a direct policing responsibility in the town of Cortland, which we share with the state police. And once again, in that town, that effort is straightforward and been very successful. And the county is always ready to work with any locality, either in supplying additional support that they may need or where they consider appropriate the local police function. So the county police has this regional function. I think it's a very important element to highlight. It's also important to understand that we do not present this updated report as a satisfaction that, look at us, aren't we great? It is to give you the accurate facts of what's happening with crime, that it is down. But we continue to make efforts to try to improve our efforts and operations. We've reported recently that we've implemented a mental health crisis response team to complement the police response whenever there's a mental health incident by having a mental health professional who may be skilled to de-escalate a situation and help us avoid a tragedy. We've also noted in a prior press conference that the county police has instituted a mobile app. Now, being my age in the 21st century, applications are not second nature to me. They are to younger people. But rather than finding a way to call and figuring out what the phone number is, an application on your phone gives you a direct link, and you can do a host of different things, report information very easily. And that is a step forward in our communications. And as we've said in a number of ways, we are trying to diversify our police force, hiring as many diverse individuals as we can. for the practical benefit that comes from having more Spanish-speaking officers on duty to handle that portion of our population that speaks Spanish as a native language. And then also to have the diversity necessary between men and women on the workforce as we deal with issues that deal with women as well as men. And so these and other changes are underway as part of the police review process. And here in Westchester County in general and in each of the municipalities, it's been a cooperative effort that we work through the issues and try to get to agreed areas where we can show the reform and the improvement and at the same time support our police officers. So there's a narrative out there that says that all of these things are at loggerheads, that the general government and the effort to reform is directly an attack on the police, when in fact we're showing every day, whether it's in Ardsley as a village or the other communities of Westchester or county-wide, that we're working our way cooperatively through these things. As I summarize our presentation for today, in Westchester County, crime is down. Crime is down significantly, 20% amongst index crimes. There are crimes that still happen. There are incidents that are horrific, and when they're reported, they're investigated, and every effort is made to catch the individuals that are guilty of that crime, and they are properly prosecuted. And then the judicial system takes over from there, and when they are adjudicated to have been guilty of a crime, and if they need to be incarcerated at a certain level, we provide the incarceration at the Westchester County Jail and the probation that follows that. The criminal justice system in Westchester is administered fairly and directly and properly along the lines that we're responsible for. We look for ways to reform to improve that system, but it is important for you to understand that crime in Westchester County is down. And what you may hear in terms of a narrative is coming from people that don't know the statistics, probably don't care about the statistics, but they do have a narrative, and that narrative has to be leavened by the facts. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. We appreciate the opportunity to communicate with you, and we look forward to giving you further updates as we go forward. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.